All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the ConquerCast. I'm super excited. I'm with Nicole Tanner, the founder of Swig. We've got one of the Swig cups sitting out here in front of us. If you haven't heard of them already, like, you're under a rock, because this is one of those brands. It's going all across the country, it seems like right now. You guys have blown up.
Yeah.
And the lines at your stores are long because I've sat in them. We've got, the Farnes family has our favorite flavors, and so I'm just super excited to have you here. Nicole, thank you for making some time to be on the ConquerCast.
Thank you for having me. This is such a beautiful office, and just, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I love the fact that we're two Utah brands, and we're known for our flavors, both of us. And not just our flavors, but kind of the flavor we bring to life and the cultures we've created within the brands, and what we're doing in the community. And I want to talk about all that. We've just had some conversation prior to recording, and I wish that was all recorded because it's such good content. But we'll try to get into some of those topics as well. But Nicole's lived an incredible life, and it's fun finding some of these connections. Your son, serving a mission back in Washington, D.C., where I lived with my parents as they served a mission. And then we have some mutual friends, that Justin Erickson, who kind of brought us together. He was one of my neighbors, but was one of your CEOs. It sounds like
first CEO.
First CEO. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, the Swig brand is incredible, and I think I sent you a picture. My daughter, I think it was her 5th grade Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
They make the boxes to put the Valentine's cards in. My wife made a beautiful Swig cup with cream on top and a big straw, and that was where she received all of her Valentine's that year.
It's a talented wife.
She is a talented wife, and she knows a good brand and knows.
What's her name again?
My wife is Jenna.
Good job, Jenna.
And yeah, good job, Jenna. She's actually on her first not solo. She's with a bunch of ladies, but it's a ladies fishing trip in Alaska. They just landed right now. She's never fly fished before, so she's out there doing that. But
have you fly fished in Teton Valley? Have we talked about this?
No.
That's where I'm from.
Is that, no way.
The Teton River, Snake River is some of the best fly fishing.
Is that? Yeah, I've only done it once down the Snake River. I have a friend of mine that lives in my neighborhood that's a guide up there, so he took me and my son. It's the only time I've ever fly fished. It was incredible. So you're from, is it Teutonia?
My wedding reception was in Teutonia, but I'm from Victor, but it's Teutonia, Driggs, Victor.
Yeah.
So Teton Valley. But Driggs is maybe more well known. Victor is becoming more well known. But I grew up in a really small town in Idaho.
Well, another connection, my grandpa is buried in Teutonia.
Oh.
He's, I don't know if that Farnes is from Idaho Falls and Blackfoot. Yeah. That's where my dad's from. And so we used to spend a lot of time up in that area.
And so he chose to be buried up there?
And so that's where he was
raised.
In the
Teutonia Cemetery?
And so he chose. And he was
so awesome.
he served in the Army, so it was cool. They had the gun salute and everything at his funeral. But yeah, that's...
You know what? My parents are buried up on that west bench between like Victor and Driggs, and the cemetery is literally like paradise. It sits there and looks out over the Tetons. It's amazing. So it is cool. Paradise. I didn't appreciate it growing up, because it's like my graduating class was 56 people, and I loved it. Honestly, I loved it. I grew up on a farm. My dad was a seminary teacher. But you're like, okay, there's more out there. I've got to get out there. But now I can't wait to go back every summer. I go back. I'm heading there in 2 weeks with my family.
Cool.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, so many connections. And even like for those listening, some of you don't know about our faith. And we're in the same faith, LDS community. And Nicole is currently serving as it's called Stake Young Women's President. I just got released as being a similar, like the counterpart, the Stake Young Men's President, working with youth. And I could just see, just hearing your stories and your energy and your enthusiasm for life and for God and your relationship with God. I know He's doing wonders through you with the lives of these youth. So it's incredible. I loved serving in that position, and I did for about 5 years. And it was incredible to watch the rising generation and their faith and their just their courage, and they're facing different things than you and I faced growing up, and they're doing it with faith in the Lord and with that courage, and just they're just valiant. I've got kids that are growing up right now, and I'm just in awe and proud of the choice they make when there's so many distractions in their lives right now. So
they came strong and ready for this, and our role with them is to help them to feel the Spirit and to find moments where they can feel the Spirit and connect to Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and know that, things will be hard in their life and go differently than they thought. But as long as they have their Savior by their side, that's where their strength and peace comes from. And just helping them just connect to Him at an early age and build that foundation is huge, because the world is ever changing and becoming ever more difficult. And so they're going to need to know how to connect to Him. So.
And they need leaders like you that are mentors to them in life, that have gone through those difficult things. Because I think we're going to dive into some stories and some experiences where you have real life experience that you can pass on to them, speaking from experience. And I've always believed that you're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. So you having gone through the different things through your business, through health struggle, through divorce, all these things, that you now have the opportunity to say, hey, I know from experience that life is going to be hard.
Yeah.
But there's a way to find strength. That
Yeah.
strength is constant. He's
Yeah.
always there. And you're going to need him. So.
You are, and it's going to be better than you thought.
Yeah.
It's different than you thought. I think when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you have this vision for yourself. And you should. And you should. But sometimes there will be things that will take it down a different path. And I think the key is just knowing that God's got you no matter what happens. And I remember when I was called as Stake and Women President, I've served in Young Women's a ton. Yeah. Love it. I'm like, I think that's where I need the most growth, I guess. I haven't figured it out, but I love the youth. But I was newly divorced, and like a couple years divorced, and a businesswoman. And my stake president, I said, oh, I don't feel qualified. Like, I'm not your typical Stake and Women president. I am divorced, single, and a businesswoman. And he's like, no, that's exactly who I want in there, because these young women need to see that what do you do when things go differently, and you anchor to your Savior, and show them what that looks like. And
powerful.
So, and I'm like, and the next thing I was like, okay, I'm gone a lot during the week. And he's like, it's fine. It's mainly like a Sunday job. Yeah. I'm like, okay, fine. Yes. Yes.
That's how long have you been serving in that?
2.5, almost 3 years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I surrounded myself with an amazing team of sisters that we all help carry it.
That's incredible.
So.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned all those things, and you are perfect for that role and responsibility, because these young women and these young men, they need examples like you, and somebody that reflects the light and love of Jesus Christ that they can turn to. People need mentors. They need role models. They need heroes, right?
Yeah, we all do.
We all have those people in our lives that we can look to and say, okay, that was somebody I looked to. That's who I thought of when I was going through this, and if they could do it, or if I could feel their love or their strength, And if it's somebody that points you to that ultimate strength and peace through Jesus Christ, then all the better,
It's huge, yeah.
So, well, good. That's awesome. We'll dive into that a little bit more. Tell us quickly, just before we dive into the whole history of Swig, what is Swig for those that haven't heard of it?
Yeah. So Swig is like your go-to drink spot. We call it like happiness in a cup. We take your favorite drink, whether that be soda, energy, sparkling water, water-based. We have sweet tea in like the South. And we make it special by adding your favorite flavors, add-ins. We have purees and fresh fruit, frozen fruit, and we customize it to however you want it. We call it dirty soda, is what we're calling it, and there's a story behind that as well. But that's a dirty soda or a Swig to us is take your favorite drink, and then we're going to customize it and make it as premium as we can, refreshing as we can for you. It's that icy drink. You can blend it. You can just have it be on ice. But every time you come through a Swig, we're going to take your order person to person. The way Swig got started is 16 years before that, I would go to Sonic all of the time to get my drink fix. And I went to Sonic because of the Pebble Ice. Yep. It can be crunchy at the end when you're done with your drink. And they had the foam cup that kept your drink colder longer. So I would go to Sonic all the time, but a lot of times, and I went to Sonic too because otherwise my options were a gas station to go and get my drink fix or wherever. And I have 5 kids, 5 children. Back then they were between, infant to like 10, 11, 12. So be able to unbuckle all of them and go in just to get my drink fixed didn't make any sense. So Sonic was the choice. But oftentimes the experience was lacking. Yeah. So whether the line was really long and slow because they're prepping and cooking food inside, or the drink was kind of subpar, like no premium to that. And then other times I felt like a number in their drive-through line, even though I was coming on a really consistent basis.
Right.
Because it was taken by a Squawk Box, the order was, or whatever. I'm like, what if I could get my drink fix from a place where the drink was superior, it was fast, but more importantly, there was connection in that experience with that, where I felt seen and heard. So I looked around and didn't see anyone else doing that, just drinks in that customized premium way. And I'm like, okay, let's go do it. And opened the first location in St. George.
Which
April
location
2nd.
is that? Down by the
college.
Down by the college. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's on Tabernacle Street in St. George. So that's where I was living at the time with my family. And
what year was that you opened?
2010.
2010. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, and found an old kind of beat up building because it was cheap rent, and fixed it up and literally opened it up very basic, like 6 flavor shots, because I didn't know what customers were going to want, and had a Coke machine in it because of my love for Diet Coke.
That's
Diet
what you'd
Coke
go
with
to
lime.
Sonic for was Diet Coke?
Diet Coke with lime was my drink, my get me through the day mom moment. And so I had my Coke machine in there, and Pepsi came in to install their machine, and they're like, oh, you can't have both in here. You're either Coke or your Pepsi establishment, which is true still to date in like food and beverage.
Okay.
But I'm like, well, I need both because I'm Mountain Dew and Pepsi drinkers, which my brothers are those. And they're like, well, no, sorry. And they left. And I'm like, okay, well, money is literally flowing down the drain, and I got to get going. So just opened the doors, went to the grocery store and bought a bunch of 2-liter bottles of any Pepsi products, and then was serving any Pepsi drinks, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, from a 2-liter bottle.
No way.
Yeah, because I'm like, we got to get moving.
Yeah.
And I remember just a couple weeks after we opened, there was a gentleman that came and ordered a Pepsi, and he's sitting out on the front porch, and I opened the window and I said, how's your swig? How's your drink? And he's like, this is the best Pepsi I've ever had. And he didn't know it was poured from a 2-liter bottle, but it didn't matter to him. It's how he felt drinking that. That was his experience. I'm like, yes,
that's awesome.
That is what we've done. So we take your order person to person, always, never a Squawk Box. I really want to see our customers as real people doing life and choosing to come to Swig because it's the best part of their day.
So that's cool because like I didn't know that was your intention, but I've noticed that like there's always somebody that walks out, you know, and they've got and they, you know, how are you doing? And are you a member? And so that was very intentional. And why was that connection so important for you?
Because that's what I was lacking in Sonic, but I think it's everyone on this planet has a desire to feel seen and heard, and to be made to feel special. We all do. We're all humans living a very human experience, and everybody has something that they're going through. Yeah. And I just thought, customer service, really, like I worked at Sizzler when I was in high school, and I remember thinking I can either make or break myself. I can really provide an amazing experience for my customers coming in as I'm waiting on them, or it can provide a kind of a crappy experience and I'm not going to get tipped as well. I'm like, I prefer the other. Yeah. But honestly, just to make sure that person had a good experience. And I just know I would appreciate that as a customer. And honestly, I was like, I would appreciate this. I know there's others like me that would appreciate this as well. And so let's try it.
Does anyone ever express like to you, like, okay, I needed to talk to somebody today?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. In fact, there was an experience, like we get moments like that come through from our managers. But here's one that my CEO just talked about at a leadership retreat we had for our managers 2 days ago. But it's a message I sent him a year ago that was sent to my sister. And she knew that I own Swig, and she's like, will you share this message with your sister? She's like, I was going through the line at Swig. I don't even know which location, but it was one in St. George. And she was having major postpartum depression. And she just was having a really hard day. And the team member taking her order could tell it was a hard day. And just by the way she was, I don't know, expressing herself, she wasn't crying. And I think maybe she had like teary eyes. And the team member is like, how are you doing? All she did was ask, how are you doing? And that customer literally started crying. And the team member's like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I hope you're okay. She's like, this drink is on me. comped her drink, and then the customer started bawling even more. But she's like, it literally helped me to feel seen.
Wow.
In even just a drive-through line getting a drink. And she's like, tell your sister that those businesses out there doing that are few and far between. Yeah. But that's how we've always been. The hardest part for me from pulling away from store number one, there was 3 years from store number one, just making sure it was working. In there day in, day out. It was a concept we had to prove out. Yeah. Like there wasn't anybody else doing it. By the way, Pepsi wised up and came in a month later.
I bet.
and so we had Coke and Pepsi in the same building, which we feel like we pioneered. That did not exist before that. Wow. And now you can go to a lot of other competitors and they do have both.
That's cool.
So Coke and Pepsi were both in there. But
so you're bringing people together. You're bringing the
I know, Coke and Pepsi. You can play nice. It's fine. We can all be in here and be good. But we had to create this new market of just kind of drive-through beverages. And so, yeah, 3 years just in that one location. Found store number 2 exactly a mile apart from store number 1. It was in foreclosure, again, so cheap rent. And fixed it up on our own and opened the doors exactly 3 years to the date that we opened store number 1.
And that one's down by
Boulevard.
The grocery store?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I couldn't get store number 2 open fast enough because the lines around store number 1 were wrapped day in, day out. So it's like, we got to get store number 2 open. But it was more just like, okay, well, now we have 2 stores. But the lines were wrapped around both buildings. So April, the next month, 2013, there was a news station in Salt Lake City, KUTV2 News, highlighted us. They came down, surprised me. I didn't know they were coming. Free marketing is always the best.
That's awesome.
And highlighted us as the top place to hit for spring breakers that year. Huh. So everybody coming from Salt Lake or anywhere in Utah or anywhere coming through Utah had to stop and get their swig. So it really kind of like blew us out of the water. Cool. Brought on partners just a month later, 2 months later, and that was Justin and his team, Jason Lindsay, Mike Strong. Brought them on to help us to scale. So then I was able to step away now from 2 of them. What I was going to say is to step away from the first store was really hard for me because these customers were like, they were my people. Yeah. And I would see them on a very regular, daily, if not twice a day visit. And I wanted to make sure that my team was going to take care of those customers like I would. Yeah. So just finding the people that care in your organization can be tough, but they're out there. And you'll see them leading out from almost the very beginning. And then what you need to do is give them opportunity to lead out and to even make mistakes, because that's how we learn. That's how I learned.
100%.
Took orders on yellow sticky notes for 3 years because I didn't know any better. I didn't know about point of sales. I didn't know there was a point of sale who could track everything and iPads and bump screens, and I'd never done that before. So it was simple process until after the partnership with Justin, we hired a consultant that had worked with Costa Vida. And he's like, oh, there's actually a better way to be doing this. You guys have created an amazing following, but let me help you inside to make it more efficient. Brought on iPads. And so, but I didn't know any better, and that's okay. We just started.
That's part of the story.
Didn't have 2-liter bottles and sticky notes, and here we are 120 stores later.
Oh, so. It's inspiring, because it just goes to show any listeners, like, if you have this idea, it doesn't have to be all conceptualized and all understood from beginning to end. When you start out, you just start, right? You just start. You go buy the 2-liter.
You go buy the 2-liter.
You grab a sticky note.
Yep.
You work with what you have, and then when you were talking earlier, and you were talking about God's plan, and it's always better than you expected, but different. It's like, the bigger and better parties that kids do, and they take a little item to the door, they knock, and they say, hey, I've got this bottle. I'm looking for something bigger or better.
So good.
And it's always with God. It's always bigger and better. It just typically looks a little different. So start with what you've got.
Yeah, just start
and go from there. Just start, right?
Yeah, he's got you.
That's amazing.
You're gonna have bumps. You're gonna have mistakes. I don't like to even call them mistakes. I call them learning opportunities. They are. That's how you learn in life and in business. That is how you learn.
And that's got to be such an element to your culture that you've built in building up people, that they feel safe, that this is a learning experience, and that I'm not looked at as a failure. Because what people I don't think people are afraid of failure. I think they're afraid of being seen failing.
Yes.
And so, like, especially in a workplace, they don't want to feel like they're on the chopping block, or that, and if that's the culture, then everyone's scared and they just want to do whatever what they think Nicole will do.
Yeah,
but you want them to try things, and you want
Yeah.
them to explore things, and you want them,
Yeah.
obviously probably within a set of core values or whatnot. But like, that's what an incredible culture and people building opportunity you've created for your organization.
Well, and our team is a young team. They are between the ages of 16 and 24. They start out most often first job at 16 years old. So they're young leaders, and so they are going to be afraid to make mistakes because they're just learning how this works. It's their first job. So giving them opportunity to lead out is crucial for them, and to make mistakes, but have a leader and a manager that is not breathing down their necks or micromanaging like crazy. We love for them to lead out. We encourage it. You move up to be a shift lead, and then we have a leadership and training program, which is kind of like, if you thought about throwing your hat in the ring to become a manager, you're really good at it. You could do it, and encouraging them to do so, and then giving them the skills to really be mentoring and managing their peers, which is hard. The hardest part about our job at Swig, especially in the stores, is just managing people and helping to realize everybody's different personalities, and they're all on a different path, but recognizing where they are at in that journey, and then setting goals to where they're at and where they could be. But oftentimes our managers are between the ages of 18 and 23, and they are managing $1 million locations, and they're rocking it.
Ah, cool.
And 85% are female.
Yeah,
which is something
awesome.
that's just kind of organically happens. And so I love that we have these young leaders now that have careers, solid careers. We now are at 120 locations, which blows my mind when you go back to that founding story, and every day blows my mind. But it's all because of God, but it's also because of these amazing leaders. If I were just to try to hold on to every control that I could think of, and no one's going to take care of my customers like me, I still have 2 locations, if that. So you have to lean on your team, let them lead out, and then support. And we go through the finish line arm in arm, wherever that finish line is.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it's at right now. We're in the beginning stages really of the journey, the Swig journey. So
120 stores, starting with some 2-liter bottles and some sticky notes,
and a 700 square foot shack that needed so much TLC.
Wow,
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story. And tell me, you said earlier, there's a story behind dirty. What was it? Dirty sodas? Or?
Dirty soda. Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Yeah. So, within the first month of opening, there was an orthodontist office down in St. George that would come and get drinks for their whole office, and on a weekly, if not, bi-weekly basis or twice a week basis. And they would get a coconut Dr. Pepper, because when we started, we didn't name any of our drinks. Again, this was so grassroots mom pop, let's just see if this works so we can pay the bills. And they would come get coconut Dr. Peppers. I had 6 flavor shots, and one was coconut because I'm a coconut lover.
Yeah.
In fact, I've heard from customers and team members can we get flavors other than coconut? I'm there are. There's just, you got to search through to find them. But they would come get coconut Dr. Peppers. And one day they said within a month, we call these dirty Dr. Peppers. And we're it just sounds cool and kind of edgy. We're yeah, these are now dirty Dr. Peppers.
Cool.
And so we put it on our menu. And then we actually trademarked it with the help of Justin. It was our term. And then flash forward to 2021, Olivia Rodrigo, who's a pop star, she is a fan of Swig, and she came through a Swig in Mill Creek in Salt Lake, and she got her Swig and did hashtag dirty soda and tagged us and took a picture with our team member, and dirty soda went viral, literally viral on TikTok, and people were making dirty soda, and they still are at home trying to recreate it. But I got a call shortly after that in 2022 from my phone rang, and it was NBC Universal. I'm do I answer this? I don't know, scams out there. And so I answered it, and it was hello, this is so-and-so. I'm a producer from the Today Show. We've heard about dirty soda, and we hear you're the original. Can we talk to you for a few minutes and get the story? So, Of course I did. And then like a few days later, they made their own version of it in New York City on the Today Show. Swig was blasted on the front screen. Al Roker is drinking what they came up with, a dirty soda, and Swig was all over. So we protected the brand way back when.
Yeah,
a lot
smart.
of people would be like, well, how did you know? When people started copying us back in 2013 and doing exactly what we were doing, they were bringing everything on, but the main thing was dirty. And they had dirty sodas, a dirty Dr. Pepper. And so we were like, that's ours. Like, so we protected it. And then 10 years later, when there was this amazing trend out there, they came to the original of that. And so piece of advice I give to entrepreneurs is follow your gut and then protect it, because I didn't know this was going to happen 8-10 years later. But if we hadn't protected it and made sure that we were the original, they wouldn't come looking for Swig. So when they were talking about dirty soda, and now there's a lot of people copying dirty soda, like some of the top name brands, and that's okay. And honestly, is like, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
And they're helping us to establish what this, these premium beverages are out there. So,
But where they're lacking is your connection to the. I mean, there's something about connection to a brand. Even being, you could be the original and not have the connection, and it probably wouldn't have the same meaning. But the way that you've approached it and made it personal, that's what I say about Mountain Ops. Anytime I'm sitting with a customer, it's like, we built this company for you. This was we're along for your journey, but this was for you. And especially when I hear their stories, and my original one, it was for my dad, but then my dad led me to the next customer and then the next customer. And it's like, you have that connection, and that connection will be what prevails,
It really is. It'll set you apart from all the rest, because they can copy and do exactly what we do, and they do it, and they have been for years.
Yep.
But that connection where you see people in your line, person to person, is huge. It's invaluable.
It feels like, there's a lot of brands here in Utah that try to come after what you guys are doing. Like, is Utah, I mean, you're spreading throughout the country, right?
Yeah.
You got locations. Why is Utah such a hotbed for these kind of...
I don't know. I've thought about that so much. I'm like...
Do we drink a lot of soda here, or what?
Or just like every good idea. Like, I mean, they copy not even drinks, but it's just like from like... spa places or whatever. Like, it is literally cold plunge. Like, it is like we find a good idea and we're like, I could do that. And that's amazing. Yay for Utah that we like to be entrepreneurs here and try new things. I love it. But we wanted to prove that we weren't just a Utah brand back in like I wanted to prove that forever, and I knew that it wasn't just a Utah brand. But because Coke and Pepsi are billion-dollar corporations for a reason, and it's not because of Utah. So we did our research, and Coke and Pepsi focused on Oklahoma and Texas as some of the top consuming states. Sonic was founded in Oklahoma. Dr. Pepper is based in Dallas. So we deliberately crossed a few states and went to Oklahoma and Texas to prove out that we weren't just a Utah company, which we knew we weren't, but we wanted to show that people drink soda and just icy drinks in general, because we offer so much variety everywhere. So we landed really well in those states. And now we're in 16 states with, in 3 years, you will see us in probably 45 states.
Wow.
Like, it's growing. We get franchise requests all the time. We turned on franchising 2.5 years ago. I wanted to build a really strong base because, again, it's that culture and that connection that you can't duplicate. And so that's training, and that's just your leadership, helping to make sure that that is the same. So we built a really strong platform of knowing who we are and establishing how to duplicate that. And that we found that out really quick in Oklahoma and Texas of like, okay, we have a really strong culture here in Utah of who Swig is and how we deliver that to the customer, that experience. But we need to duplicate that states away. So that's why we did that as well. Built that really strong base, and then turned on franchising, sold almost 400 units in less than a month, which I always knew it wasn't a matter of will they come, but can you support it? And I'm a big Swig culture protector. I'm that mama bear. And so we turned it on, and now our duty to our franchisees is to make sure that we're supporting you. When you win, we win. And now they're really starting to roll them out in places like Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas, Kansas, Indiana. It's coming like a freight train.
Wow.
So dirty soda, you're going to get Swig across the nation, and that's really cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Tell us about the name Swig. How did you come up with that?
So looked up back in the day when you didn't have iPhones, but looked up the word drink in the thesaurus, which teenagers would be like, what is that? There's no Siri. And so looked up.
Chatty G?
Yeah, right? There's none of that. And the minute that they came to Swig, I was like, stop. Like that, it just felt right.
So
I'm like,
good.
can I have a swig of your drink? Can I have a swig of that? It's short, marketing wise. It's just like, you know exactly what kind of an establishment is. Oh, it's a drink place. And it's catchy. So yeah, that's.
Did you have background in marketing and such, or you?
No. I just was a consumer.
A consumer.
Yeah, and I worked at Sizzler. Again, I know customer service.
Okay.
I worked at McDonald's as a teenager, college kid. But I just knew what I liked and appreciated as a consumer, and then just duplicated it and did it very grassroots.
Yep.
You know, very grassroots. But honestly, I think that is like crucial. Like start basic, because you just don't know, and the customer will appreciate that. And they'll resonate with that.
They're on the journey with you, right?
That's
They almost feel like they're investing in your journey, and they're a part of it.
I want them to. I used to think I should own stock in Sonic because I go all the time, and now I have my own Swig stock, drink stock. But here's a good story of that. So my current CEO, he is amazing. His name's Alex Dunn. He was the CEO for Vivint, Vivint Public. He came on a year and a half ago, and he was training. He wanted to go through all the steps. He went to one of our locations and started as team member and worked his way up for a full week. And I appreciated and loved that so much as the founder. But he went in and was like on day 2, and he's handing out at handout, and he's chatting with the customers in between as they're waiting for the drinks. And he said to this one customer, hey, so he's like, hey, welcome to Swig. And he's like, be patient with me. It's like my first week. And she didn't know who he was. She probably figured as much because he's this tall. He's my age, and you know it's usually young kids. And anyway, and she's like, "Oh, well, welcome to Swig." And he's like, "What? She's welcoming me to Swig?" But he says that happened like 3 or 4 more times on that 1 hour shift right there. Welcome to Swig. Like they're like, welcome to the family. But that is how our customers feel, and we want that. We want them to feel like it's their Swig, it's their drink that they can get made exactly how they want it every single time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. Such a cool story.
It's so amazing.
That's awesome. So to create a culture like that, it sounds like you've been very intentional about how you've done it, and then to maintain that and grow it throughout the country, that's got to be a task to tackle. Are there a set of core values that you've put together so that as people are making decisions, they can kind of filter through that, or how do you lead and guide the culture from a values standpoint?
Yeah, we're all about care and about caring for our team and for the customers. So we always tell our managers, find the people that care. I mean, they all care, but to a certain level. So we're about caring for our team, for our people, basically, and that's inside and outside of the store.
What does caring look like?
Caring is meeting them where they're at, exactly where they're at, like at their car, at that moment where they're crying, meeting them and saying, I care about you, I'm comping this drink. Caring is about seeing a team member who's going through a really hard time, and you are there with them while they cry on your shoulder, or it's hot outside and you're like, okay, let's switch out so-and-so, they're having a tough time, whatever it is. It is showing up for people in their hard, in their good, celebrating the good. We've had marriages come out of Swig. They like literally like best friends, like literally creating these lifelong friends. That's the culture in there. We are a team. We go, like I said, arm in arm. We're like slaying drinks on the front line. And I went to our Layton store on my way here. And I don't know a lot of the team because it's constantly a revolving door because of their age. Yeah. And I just go walking in. I'm not in Swig standard dress. And they just smile as I walk back behind the drink, and I'm, hey, how's it going? I'm Nicole. And then the light bulb goes off, and they're like,
Nicole's here.
And I make drinks with them for about 10 minutes. That's where the magic is. You will see all of our leaders, including our CEO, as I said, we are right there with you. So that's what we do. We are right there with you in life, on the line, outside taking orders. Arm in arm. Grand opening days, we give out free drinks for like a day or two to help our customers know, hey, this is what Swig is, come try us. You'll see all of our leadership team out there directing traffic, taking orders, making drinks. It is fun. It is so exciting, but that's how we build that culture of that looks like a fun place to work. They're consumers at first, customers, and then they're like, I think I want to work there. That's a great place to work. And then they get in and they go, wait, there's actually opportunity. Like I could become an assistant manager. I could be a manager. Wait, I could be like a district manager and take care of 5 or 6 stores. Wait, I could be like on the franchise team training new people. Like we have opportunity for everyone.
So cool.
So like build your bench. Our goal for our managers is to find 2 GMs every year. So fill your bench so that if there's an opportunity that comes, you're ready and that new person is ready to go. And if you take vacation, your store is going to be fine because your team has got the store and your customers. So we're just building leaders. I oftentimes say we're now a leadership company that happens to sell a really good drink.
That's awesome.
And that's how we're going to scale. That's why we're where we are today, is because of our leaders. And that's all done by just showing up day in, day out for them, with them.
That's amazing. What's been the most difficult, that maybe something that you didn't anticipate, but that's been difficult in either building the leadership or building the scale that you wanted to? Where were there roadblocks or road
man,
bumps?
it's just forever change. Like we started off with shaved ice, smoothies, just making sure that things we bring on are really true to what built us. If it takes longer than 60 seconds to prep, it doesn't make the menu because that slows down what built us, and that is a fast line, right? So our customers can count on that line, like a Chick-fil-A line. You can count on it. Like they're going to move us. You see people out there taking orders, not by a squawk box. You can trust that they're going to move that line forward. So learning that along the way of like, don't bring anything on because everybody's going to be like, try this, do this, serve this. I'm like, just we're going to focus on, we are really good at drinks and really good at a premium, amazing, refreshing drink and a fast connected drive-through line. So learning that along the way, we've tried a few times of not having a drive-through, of like, do we really need a drive-through? We need a drive-through. Yeah. We learned that we were in a mall at one point. It didn't hit. It was really slow. We're like, okay, we learned that. We need drive-throughs. That's where our customers want to see us. And just, again, the people side of it is the best part, but also the hardest part because you're just trying to find the right people that are ready to take that opportunity to then fly and building them as such. We just rolled out a certified training coach program to where we'd oftentimes go, okay, we got this manager that's ready to go and she's new and we're going to open up this new location. And all of a sudden it started off with a bang and this manager is like drowning, trying to keep his or her head above the water. We have an amazing person we brought on. His name's Paul. He came from Cafe Rio. We brought him on a couple years ago. He's my age and he had so much experience of building and developing people. He's like, we've got to develop the people, the leadership, to then go and support this new manager for like a good month and kind of just be by their side. And that just is rolling out this year. So again, learning that it's one thing to go, yay, we have a new store and we're there to support, but that district manager has like 5 or 6 stores she's supporting and doing all the things. We should have done it better. So now we have these certified training coaches that have managed before, and they maybe don't want to be a district manager. It's not a good fit for them, which is fine. We have different seats on the bus, wherever is a good fit for you. Yeah. And now we have these certified training coaches that have 3 stores that they just have like, all right, I've got you. We're going to like increase your sales. We're going to increase your profitability. We're going to have the fastest lines. And because of that, we're going to keep that culture just solid. That's awesome. So we're ever learning. So all along the way.
It's complete. I mean, it's always an evolving process and progress, right? And I love that you're scaling by scaling people. And then, learning that a kiosk in a mall might not be the thing, but the convenience you guys offer through the drive-thru is incredible. But it's more than convenience. It's like it's a connected convenience, right? I love the connection you create through that. But people live busy lives, and Swig is part of keeping them moving, and you're keeping them moving through to enjoy that life. I absolutely love it, and I love that it's all about caring. Is that has that always been a part of your life? Is like you want to be a caring person? Did somebody care for you? Did you go through something where you could count on people that were caring for you, or you were caring for someone, and it's like, hey, this is what we're going to do for people? Or how did that come about, where it was like a focus on care?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's been a part of my DNA since I was just little, but I had amazing parents that cared. My mom had 8 kids, and we grew up on a farm where we all are working out there, getting stuff done. My dad was a seminary teacher, which is in our religion. They teach youth and learning to love the youth, and that's probably where I saw that really developing people at that young age of helping them to connect to Christ, Jesus Christ. But my parents were super loving but also hardworking and trying to, you don't quit till the job's done. But I care and love people. I just know that everyone has something hard they're going through, and I just have great empathy for people. My life was pretty decent, pretty good. I hadn't had a lot of bumps along the way, and was married at 21, and had 5 amazing, beautiful children, easy pregnancies, easy deliveries. Well, actually, hard deliveries. Let me rephrase that. Easy pregnancies, hard deliveries. My babies are too nice, cozy, and comfy inside. And my first one, anyway, 4-step delivery and 2-day labor. But my amazing children. But then, my world got rocked when I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 37. But the way I found it was miraculous, and it was a very God moment. So 37 years old, my youngest was 4, and was with a running partner. I just moved to St. George, and again, God just is so good. And my next door neighbor, he introduced Natalie into my life, and they came over to bring us something as we moved in, and we talked about common interest in running, and so we started running together. And within about 4 or 5 months, she just went and got a mammogram, and I said, she has breast cancer in her family and a history, and she was a nurse. And I said, when do you think I should get a mammogram? I was 37. She's like, well, I think women should get one at 35 to see like a baseline of what your healthy breast tissue looks like. And then you can track it when you go at 40 to see if anything's changed. And I said, okay, well, that's great. Well, I have no history. We were in between jobs, no insurance, no job. And like, why would I get? I had no signs, or symptoms. And so she asked me within a month's period, like 4 more times, did you schedule your mammogram? And like, finally, after the 5th time, as any good friend would say, I'm like, if you'll stop asking me, I will go get that. Gosh dang it. So I scheduled it, and I called the OB. And I still remember, they're like, okay, well, why are you getting this mammogram? I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I should. They're like, okay, insurance isn't going to cover it. I'm like, okay, that's fine, which was a lot back then. 5 kids, in between jobs, no insurance. So I'm like, that's fine. Crazy. They're like, okay, here's the radiology department. Call them to schedule it. Called them. Same questions. I'm like, this is so silly, but I don't know. Schedule it. It was 2 months out from the mammogram. I was in St. George. It snowed in St. George, which it rarely snows in southern Utah. So that morning, I get a call from the radiology department and out in Hurricane, and she's like, hey, this is so-and-so. I need to see if I can reschedule your mammogram. I'm trying to go north and miss the snowy roads. She's like, but can I just ask you, why are you getting this mammogram? So 3 times I was asked, why are you getting this mammogram? And I was about to say, I just reschedule it, knowing that I probably wouldn't do it because why? No symptoms. But something inside of me, I just felt, you need to go. And so I listened, and I got brave and said, if I can be there in 20 minutes, will you wait for me? And so there was a pause. She's like, I'll wait for you. So I hopped in my car, drove out there, did the mammogram, like, check mark, like, done that. I can now breathe easy. I don't know why. It was like, it's done. An hour later, I'm shopping. It's Christmas time, like a few days later, and I'm doing last minute shopping. I get a phone call, and they're like, we see something suspicious. We need you in tomorrow for an ultrasound. Wow. And my heart just dropped. I'm like, are you even kidding me right now? And so I went in the next day, and they literally went right to it, like right to the tumor. It was super deep. They wouldn't have I wouldn't have felt it for a little bit because in fact, even when they found it, I just kept trying to feel it. It was too deep. It was almost to my chest cavity. And but I didn't know what it was at that point. We waited 2 weeks through Christmas break. I knew it was something that I could just tell, just because of the promptings to get me there. And then I went in 2 weeks later for the biopsy. It had doubled in size in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks time. found out it was a very rare aggressive form of breast cancer that doesn't respond to chemotherapy and radiation. It's in the connective tissue. So if you don't catch it early and just take it out, it will kill you because you can't treat it.
Wow.
So my surgeon took it out, took a very wide excision, and got all the cancer out. And she said to me, your friend absolutely saved your life. But more importantly for me, she didn't say this, but God saved my life. I don't know why I'm here, but I know I'm here for a reason. I shouldn't be here. I should not have been getting a mammogram at 37 with no signs. I should have doubted a bunch and said, why am I doing this? Everyone else is doubting me. I listened. And because God showed up in that way for me, I will forever listen. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be hard, because there will be. But he showed up in such a big way. And recovery was kind of tough. I had over $12,000 in medical debt because of that. But I felt felt very blessed that I had listened and got the cancer out. My biggest thing was I can't leave my kids. They were between 4 and 14.
Wow.
But my life was spared. And I remember to this day, I got humble again and filled out all this paperwork as to get some financial help. I didn't know what they could even give me, but to pay for the surgeries and all the things. And I remember to this day sitting in the hospital and the employee there looking over my paperwork, and she looks up from the paperwork and she says, Nicole, can you pay $100? And that's it. And I wrote a check right there, and I was not only cancer free, but I was medical debt free.
Wow.
And so started Swig a year later on a wing and a prayer. I'm like, okay, that was close. That was close. I now want to go out and live and care for people like I was cared for, and care for them like Heavenly Father cared for me. And I want to meet people where they're at, wherever that is. And now, flash forward 10 years from when we started in 2010 to 2020, when the world is hit with just super hard of COVID. People are losing their lives, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their homes. And one of my business partners said, let's give back in the same way that you're given to Nicole, and let's help pay for their medical bills and lift that financial debt off their shoulders. When you're fighting cancer, you're worried about being sick and living, but being sick and then being a burden to your family, and the medical bills are piling up, which are massive. And I had the easy route because I didn't have to do chemo and radiation. That's the expensive part. Chemo is outrageous. So we find those women fighting the fight for their life, and we come in and surprise them and lift some of that financial debt off their shoulders so they can focus on what matters, and that's their health and their family. And every year it's literally the most daunting task to pick who we give to. But we find the most deserving, amazing women out there. They can apply themselves. It's called Save the Cups, by the way. We sell drinks in cups, and we're hoping to save women and their cups.
They apply through your website?
They apply through our website. They can find us at Swig Drinks or savethecups.org. If you go to savethecups.org, it shares my story, and there's pictures on there as well. We've helped over 75 to 80 women, and we've raised over $1 million. And that's really honestly just 5 months' time, because we do it every October since 2020. This last year we raised more than ever at $367,000 in 1 month. But it is our customers that do it.
It's our team. Is there part of their purchase going to that?
So in the month of October, you can buy my drink, which is the Founder.
Okay.
I don't need a drink named after me. But when we started Save the Cups, they're like, what? They know what my drink was, my team, and they're like, let's put your drink on the menu.
Is that the Dirty Diet Coke?
So it's a Diet Coke with fresh lime, sugar-free coconut flavoring, and coconut cream. I added coconut cream to it 7 years ago, and I'm like, game changer. That took my Diet Coke up a notch. So anytime you order a Founder in the month of October, we donate $1 to Save the Cups. And then we do a water-based, a refresher drink. 1 year was the Fighter. We donate $1 to Save the Cups. We have tumblers we sell. We have stickers. We have sweatshirts, the swag, and you can just donate. So it's our customers doing it, but it's our team asking every single customer that comes through the line. But every single bit of it goes to women fighting the fight.
And you've paid the medical bills of 78 women over $1 million, and that's...
We lose a woman every year. We just lost one. And we showed up to her house a couple months ago to deliver the check, and you could just see it. She was on hospice, and you just see it. She had 4 littles. She was like 37. She'd been fighting it for like 5 years. Her husband, when we showed up, he just was bawling, and he's like, you don't know what this is going to do. I've been working 2 jobs. I can now quit one so I can spend time with her. Spend time with her before. He didn't say that, but spend time with my wife. And she just passed like 3 weeks ago. So it's something very special, Save the Cups, to where I'm almost like, was Swig made for Save the Cups? But I think it's both. Like, I feel like it's really unique to find a charity that you can develop and build that is so unique to the brand. And it was my story. So it's very God designed. Again, God is just so good. Yeah. He's so good. And so that's a big part of what I do at Swig now is Save the Cups, raising money all through the month of October with just our team and our customers, and then giving back and selecting the women. And then we surprise about 12 to 15. I show up on their front door with a big old Publishers Clearinghouse fake check, but usually it's 20,000, 15,000, and all the hugs and feels. And so you have to watch one of the videos. If you haven't,
I haven't.
bring your Kleenex.
Okay.
So go to savethecups.org and you'll be able to find, I know there's at least one video on there of
Wow.
us showing up and surprising
I can't wait
the
to
women.
watch.
Yeah.
No, I'm learning so much from your story and your experience, and how you're applying your own life's experience to the business. And we've tried to do the same here at MTN Ops. I'm just so grateful to hear it. One thing, a word that you shared that was important, I feel like, in this whole process was that you listened. Yeah. And you listened to a source that understands all, sees all the details. And so often in life, with all that we have going on around us and our own distractions and our own struggles and everything, it can be difficult to hear what we should be listening to. Yeah. And if there's one thing that I'd want this audience to listen to and take away from this, it's to listen. It's to hear that voice. I was sitting with an individual that came into the office yesterday, and he was talking about, does God really speak to us? Is that communication really there, or did it stop way back when? And I would just echo what you've said, is like, He is speaking, He is there. Always. And it's now our opportunity to listen. There's a word in the scriptures that's hearken, and I love that word. What it means is to listen and obey, not to hear and delay. Yeah.
Oh, right? That's so good. Delay, so good.
But you listened and you obeyed, and that's what your whole journey's about.
There's times where I'm kind of a slow learner, right? Where I'm like, "Are you sure that's the path?" Like, but that's okay. He's like, "I've got you, my child. Like, it's okay. But yeah, listening and doing.
Is that become easier as you've learned His voice, and you've learned that, okay, that's that feeling, that's that voice, that's that prompting again? Yeah. Does it come more naturally to you now, or is it? I
mean, yes and no. There's moments where you're like, yeah, okay. He's always there, and He always shows up, and the more He does, I just have learned to trust in Him. And what I've learned in my prayers is to really surrender my will to Him. And that is so hard, because we're like, this is, I feel comfortable right here. This is a good spot. And we don't want any bumps along the way. And for me, just to really surrender my will to Him and know that He knows the path for me, is hard, but like so good to just go, I know You've got me. I know that it's all going to be okay. I know that there'll be other hard, but I know because you've got me and are holding me and lifting me and showing me which way to go, that I'll be okay. And that's where the peace lies in it. But saying, what is Your will? What would You have me do? Show me what I need to see. And He will show up. I can't tell you how many times when making a decision, saying, just show me what I need to see. Help me to say what You want me to say. And He does. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or, oh, okay, I'll do that hard thing, but I know that it's because it's Your will and you've got me.
And you can do that in every arena of life, right? You can, and what I'm hearing is, and I believe the same thing, in your business, in your home, in your community, at work, home, at play, wherever you're at, in your church, God does not just have to be a Sunday thing where it's,
No.
you know, it happens in a chapel.
No.
The personal relationship and connection that you're speaking to can be a part of your everyday life. And sometimes people are like, I don't know how to approach him. Well, Nicole just showed you, like, give me eyes to see, show me
Yeah.
what I should do. I don't know. Help
Get
me
real
feel.
with him. I think he wants us to be more real with him and say, I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, I need to see you. I need to know that you see me. I don't know why I'm going through this. He wants you to get real he needs you to talk with him. And that's really what I've learned really over the last 5-6 years is get real, have a relationship with him.
I mean, you as a parent,
Yeah.
with your child, you
Yeah.
want to get real, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to
He
beat around
wants
the
a
bush or
relationship with you.
so much formality or
Yeah.
like, how do I approach you, Mom? Or it's,
Yeah.
it's like,
No.
man, just share with me.
Just share, just get real with him and have time every day to connect with him, to hear what he's trying to say to you. Sometimes it's harder than others to listen, to go, okay, I'm not sure if you're there, but I feel like that's the time where I'm being too busy with my life. So I find time every day to pray and to connect with him. I love nature. I love to hike, so I love to be out in nature. That's where I see him and feel him the most, but everybody feels him in a different way. Yeah. So find that place.
And haven't you found as a parent, sometimes you can kind of see what's going on in your child's life, but you just hope that they open up with you about it?
Absolutely.
And how that relationship with God as well, and him even more so able to see and understand, okay, I know what's going on in your heart, your life, your soul, like everything, and in your mind. And in the Bible dictionary, it says that so much of the difficulty around prayer comes because we've forgotten or we haven't practiced this relationship as child and parent. Yes. And when we remember, when we come to realize that that's what it is, I'm his son, he's my father, and then it becomes real, then all of a sudden it's a natural and distinct and almost instinctive way of communicating to a God who created us. And it's like, you're my father, let me share with you. And then all of a sudden, these things that I want to ask or these things that I want to say, it becomes more natural. And sometimes those blessings or those opportunities or whatever we're seeking in life, they come after we've asked, and he says, ask, you shall receive, knock, you'll open it,
And it doesn't mean that you won't be walking on coals still, but at times in your life, but he's like, I'm gonna help make this as less painful as I can. I'm right here by you. He's already suffered for it. The more we can realize to turn our worries and our fears and our sins and our heartaches over to him, the easier it'll be, because he makes it, he brings the peace. A
peace that passeth understanding, right? So you've been through a lot. You've built an incredible brand, which in and of itself is a difficult process to go down. I mean, it's not, Swig doesn't just pop out of thin air.
No.
You start with the 2 liters, you start with sticky notes, you refurbish an old building, you do all these little things. You've now gone through cancer, like nobody wants to hear that, like that, and you listen to him, you follow. Fortunately, you had an incredible friend who urged you, and we all need those types of people in our life, right? So all these different things that you've shared of how you've conquered, according to our conversation before we even got started, that wasn't the end of your struggles. And I would just say, anyone listening, you've been through hard things, you're probably going through hard things, and we will all go through additional hard things. So the more we can learn how to find those sources of strength and confidence or whatever it is to pass through the pain, the better. You've gone through some other difficulties, and with divorce, and then you were sharing with me about how God was in the details of helping you find love again, and I hope that maybe you'll share similar the story, even the details of how you guys found each other, because I know that we've got people here at MTN Ops that have recently gone through a divorce, and that, looking to other people's experiences and how they got through, and knowing that there is hope or there's opportunity in the future to find that love or to find that connection, and the listeners as well. I know there's people listening that are going to be touched by this. So will you share a little bit of that?
I never thought I would go through divorce. I was just like, I will never do that. I won't do that to my kids. Like, I will, I can handle anything, right? Until it's time, and it was God showing up and helping me to see the things I needed to see, and showed up for me. So, divorce is really, really hard, really hard. It's a death. It's a death of what you thought your life was going to be, and honestly, what you thought your forever was going to be. So, It is, it's excruciating. But then just being okay with that and sitting in that uncomfortableness of divorce and kind of ending what you thought it was going to be, and then going, okay, it's okay if it's this. And I'm connected to my Savior, to Jesus Christ, and I'm anchored to Him, and I have amazing kids as well, and I have an amazing business. So I had so much to be grateful for.
So much support along the way as well.
Oh yeah, so much support, family, but it was really, really hard. Yeah. Really hard, because it is a death of something that you thought was going to be forever. But then being okay that it's not, and being okay with where your life is currently, and sitting in that, and moving through it, like walking through it, like walking through like hot coals, like a swamp, whatever you want to describe it. Like you're literally, and one wave hitting you after another. But then you just keep breathing and keep staying connected to God, and then you'll find your way on outside of it, and there's happiness.
What are some things that you do to stay connected to? Like, are there daily things that you're like, okay, I got to do this, and that's one way that I feel the connection, or like some tools that our listeners can utilize?
Yeah. So like I said, I was really good before about saying my nightly prayer. Okay. Like, okay, I got my nightly prayer in at my knees before I climb into bed. I needed His help desperately during that divorce process, like desperately, because I just felt so bad for my kids too. Like I didn't want my kids to have divorced parents. I'm like, I hate that for them. And so I really anchored myself to morning prayer. Now I don't miss. It is like, again, my connection of like a grateful heart, and then please help me throughout my day. Help me to see what I need to see, and help guide me to the people who need me. And then scriptures, like I just became, isn't it funny how like through the hard times you're like, okay, so sorry, I need to anchor a lot. Sorry I didn't anchor as much before then and connect, but I needed all the revelation and help I could get. Like honestly, I was like, I need all the peace and help I can get. So scriptures were key, like daily scripture study, like highlighting everything just to try to find the peace and help that I needed. And then taking time to be with God in nature for me was huge. So I have what I call my prayer rock. It's a little hill by my house called Webb Hill, and I found it in 2020, like right before the divorce process, and again, that was probably more of a God thing of like COVID, gyms were shut down. And so it's like, well, we can get out in nature. And St. George people said that COVID didn't exist because we were all out in nature doing things. It did, but we were outside. So that was like my workout, and I would hit Webb Hill. It's just a 3 mile, nothing crazy. But I found a little place up on top that is my prayer rock, that I have received direct answers from God. Like seriously, direct answers and peace of what I needed. And He showed up big time for me, but I had to still my thoughts and still, my heart rate, and just get up there on that hill and talk to Him. Like solve all the world's problems on Webb Hill is what I do. But anyway, so I pray, I study and read my scriptures. I love general conference talks. Yeah. I needed all the help I could get, and so every morning I listened to either scriptures or general conference talks from our prophet and apostles in our church. They give me the experience and lift that I need to keep going. And then finding time for myself to really see Him and feel Him. I'll go get a pedicure. I'll go get a massage. Like, you have to have time for yourself, and you can't be that person for everyone. You've got to fill your own cup, and then you can share that with others. So I really believe in that as well. I'm one person that wants to be it all for everyone, and most women do. Yeah. I love my grandkids. Like they're like the best thing ever. I have 8, and awesome. I will drop anything for them and for my kids. But I've learned that I need to fill my own cup, and then I can go do all those things as well. So
that's awesome. So find a mountain you can climb, find a prayer you can sit on and say a prayer. Learn to talk to God daily. Open the pages of those books and let Him speak to you.
I also did therapy as well.
Yeah.
Therapy is huge. Talking with someone that kind of knows that path, and there's a lot of resources that I went to. I was like, okay, I'm grabbing anything and everything I can. Podcasts. I love a good podcast. I drive from St. George back and forth almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Our corporate office is in Salt Lake City area. So I don't listen to anything. I have to fill my cup up with light.
Yeah.
And so it's podcasts, it's scriptures, it's general conference. I love business podcasts too, but I do a little bit of it and then I go back to some of the other. I love feel good podcasts of like.
I feel like, and I love the business podcasts as well, but I feel like when I listen to gospel-related podcasts, they're speaking to leadership principles that are founded in the life of Jesus Christ,
Yes.
and He is the perfect leader.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
so when I hear those, I'm like, okay, I want to apply that principle to my business. I want to apply that principle to, being a father, a husband, whatever it is. And so I've found that I get the best leadership principles or business principles from the spiritual.
So true.
And
so true.
And so that's awesome. And sometimes that drive time is good too. I used to hate to drive, but the older I get, I'm like, it's not often that you have like these moments of silence where you can either be speaking to God or hearing Him speak to you.
I love it. It's like almost like a therapy. My everybody's like, how do you still do that? I've been doing it for like 12 years. That drive back and forth from St. George to Salt Lake. It's like 350 miles or so. And
you have a Swig, right?
Of course I have a Swig. So I have to make a few stops along the way. But it is like therapy for me. It's like my time just to like, I will handle business stuff, make phone calls, but it is time where I can like heal and connect with God. It's a therapy drive almost. That Webb Hill is my therapy hike. I love it.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I was going to tell you how I connected with my husband.
Yeah. How long has it been? Is it?
Yeah. So that was where God showed up big time. So I'll try to simplify it because we're chatting like for hours here. It seems like, but I'll try to simplify it.
I just love how much of your life happens in a drive-through, and there's connection. And this story is no different.
This fits Nicole and how she would connect with someone. It's so true. So I was delivering a Save the Cups check to a very deserving woman in the St. George area in Hurricane, and one of the leaders that came with. We delivered the check and we were driving back to our cars, and she had heard that I had been somewhat dating, and I'd been divorced at that time for almost 3 years, and was dating is like so like a relative, like I was not really, I was dating barely, and so she's like, Nicole, you're dating? And I said, yeah, somewhat. And she's like, you need to date my uncle. And I'm like, okay, who's your uncle? And she tells me his name, and she's like, he's amazing. He just lost his wife to breast cancer, which ironically enough, just 5 months ago. And I'm like, oh, how's he doing? Like, is he even dating? She's like, I don't know. Let me find out if he's dating. I'm like, okay, make sure, because that's hard. And so she comes back a week or so later, 2 weeks later, and she's like, he's barely started dating. And I said, well, I'd make a great first date because I'm not looking for anything and I can talk to anyone. So she's like, okay, I'll tell him. She gave me his number. I saved it in my phone. And then a week or two later, she came back and she said, okay, change of plans. He is having ACL surgery tomorrow. He just torn his ACL skiing a couple months prior. And he just found out today that he has a benign tumor growing in his jaw that is overtaking his jaw. And he needs surgery in a couple weeks and will be on a liquid diet for 2 months. And no one wants to be dating when you're on a liquid diet. That's not a good combo.
Well, you just told your dates a Swig.
Right? Yeah. So anyway, so he, I said, oh, let him heal in all the ways. Like his knee, his heart, his jaw. I'm in no hurry at all. And so she's like, okay, I'll tell him. She gave him my number. And then a couple weeks later, I've been working at Swig. It was our birthday, and we give out cookies on our birthday. It was birthday number 3. Mm-hmm. And I have been working there all day. And I'll tie into this a little bit because it's where God showed up again before I met my now husband in the line. I'll share that. Yeah, well. But almost 2 years ago, I lost my granddaughter in her sleep at 18 months old. The hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. I just told you how much I love my grandbabies. They're like my own. In fact, I probably love them even more. But because you don't have to do all the hard stuff, I love my kids. They know I love them. But they know I love my grandbabies. And to see my daughter and her husband in such pain, accepting the fact that she was gone, and all of us accepting the fact that she was gone. Her name was Olive, which is very symbolic, like the olive tree, the olive branch. Like, she was a friend to all. She loved Jesus. We did the temple open house tour of the St. George Temple with all of them, and she was busy. She had to get all of her life in. I think she knows she had 18 months to live, and she'd be fit to be tied as we're carrying her through this temple open house. And every time she'd come to a picture of Jesus, she'd say, "Hi, Jesus," and then like the next one, and "Hi, Jesus," and she knew Jesus. She knew the Savior. So she passed in her sleep, and so this was 4 months later, and celebrating Swig's birthday. And I was going to the mall to find some olive green shirts because I was headed down to Phoenix, where my daughter lived, to celebrate as best we could what would have been Olive's second birthday. So it was a very heavy weekend I was heading to, and making sure to lift my daughter and her husband through like excruciating times. Couldn't find any olive green clothes. I was like, where are all the olive green things? And I went out to my car, and I just was feeling so heavy, of just like, Heavenly Father, I know you see me, and I know you know me, and you've shown up for me time and time again, but I just need you right now. I don't even know what that looks like. I just need a lift. And you just know that you really see me. Then I'm heading into this heavy weekend. I'm going home by myself. There's no one at home. It's just me. And so that was it. And tears, I wiped away my tears and started driving to Target to see if I could find some olive green clothes there. And I'm driving past Chick-fil-A, and I just had read before the book, The Message. It was about someone who passes away, and people, loved ones on the other side that he connects with, that were sending messages to family. Anyway, it's a great book. Go read The Message if you've ever lost a loved one.
I read it right after my father died, and it was powerful. And
it's powerful.
It made a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes losing a loved one more sense,
Yeah.
more sensible. So anyway, I'm driving past Chick-fil-A on my way to Target, and this thought comes to me, which I know was not just a random thought. It was from, I'm sure, probably my Olive, because she knew how much her Nana, I'm Nana, she knew how much her Nana, she wanted her Nana to be loved and feel loved and to be in a caring relationship. And so I had this thought, you're just hungry. You need to eat. And I'm like, yeah, I do need to eat. I haven't eaten all day. Chick-fil-A it is. So I pull in line. There's no one in line. It's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, rare. Pull in line. And as I pull up to the window, one of my young women in church is handing out, 16 or 17-year-old. And I'm like, Gabby, when did you start working here? And we have a quick little chat. And that was it. And I get my French fry, and I'm putting it in, and my phone rings, and it says Greg, and says his name on there. And I'm like, oh, it's my new husband. I'm like, oh, I didn't think he was ready to date or whatever. And so, but I answered, and I'm like, hi. And he's like, hi, this is Greg. And like, oh, hey, Greg. And I said, how are you feeling? How's the surgery? Are you ready for the next one? He's like, yeah, I'm doing okay, and getting ready for the next one. I'm not ready to date yet, but I just had to call you because I think I was just behind you in the Chick-fil-A line. And I'm like, I was just in the Chick-fil-A line. I should either feel like you're stalking me but he didn't know what I drove. He didn't know what I looked like. I think he'd looked me up on Facebook, but all he saw was my arm, and he saw an interaction with the Chick-fil-A employee. And so his side of the story is he'd been through right before me, and they'd forgotten his sauce. And how often does Chick-fil-A forget your sauce?
No, never.
They don't. They're so good. And when people compare Swig to Chick-fil-A, I'm like, yes, we've made it as far as customer service. So they forgot a sauce, and he pulled out to the same light where he called me, and he's like, oh, no, I need my sauce. I'm getting all the good food in before I have to be on a liquid diet. So he pulls around, pulls in front. He's like, I can't get out. I had surgery. And they're like, just pull around behind. There's only one car in line. We'll give you your sauce. So sorry about that. So he pulls around. He's feeling down and out like I was in that Chick-fil-A line. Had just been reading the book, The Message, and is sitting there. He sees the interaction between this woman in front of him and the Chick-fil-A employee. And he's like, oh, okay. And the thought hits him so hard. That is who Brooke, his niece, is trying to line you up with. That is who Brooke's trying to line you up with. That's the owner of Swig.
Wow.
And he was like, are you even kidding me right now? So he tested. He pulls up to the window and he says to the Chick-fil-A employee, did you know that person, that woman in front of me? She's like, yeah, she's one of my young women leaders. He's like, is she the founder of Swig? She's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm supposed to call her. Again, that was someone that he knew that was directing him. I'm sure of it. It was a 1-minute phone call. His phone died right after he'd been in a hyperbaric chamber for his knee. Dad brought his charger. And it lasted just enough for us to get in that connection.
Wow.
I needed to feel seen and heard. I didn't know what was going to come from that call. I didn't care at that point. I just knew that God was like, I see you. Greg knew that he was seen. And God showed up for us in our life. And then we dated for a year and got married 4 months ago.
Wow.
So we met in a Chick-fil-A line.
Chick-fil-A line. That's amazing.
And a drive-thru line.
What a way to meet and fall in love. It is, through God kind of bringing it together and recognizing that, he's speaking to you, or maybe a relative is speaking to you with God's help and divine intervention. And it can happen in a drive-thru line. I think that so often in life we're looking for the thunder or the lightning or these bolts, and it's like God doesn't send thunder if a still small voice is enough to, like, hey, you need to eat. Mm-hmm. Hey, you need to ask who that lady is.
Right.
It's incredible. I love your story because it's so intertwined with just God's hand and Him kind of leading and guiding and putting people in your path or putting you in someone's path. And it's not that it's been easy. You read the scriptures that we read and you see a people that are, the mountainous waves are crashing on them, and there's wind and there's waves and there's storms and there's tempests, and it's like, well, you don't want to get caught up in that, but it almost always feels like that's pushing them towards a promised land or a people or a person or whatever it is, and then allowing you to become more acquainted with that source of strength and that Savior, Jesus Christ. And so thank you for sharing all of that, because it's so prevalent and obvious that you've just leaned on that source. And
thank you. I have all that I have because of Him. I just do. He's why I can have peace through the storms of life, and they're here and they will be forever. Everyone has them. But I'm very, very blessed because I have a lot of happiness all around me.
How's your daughter and your son-in-law doing?
They are doing good. Here's another God moment. They're doing as good as they can be. They miss their Ollie so much, desperately. But 4 months after Ollie passed, she found out she was pregnant. And she was conflicted. She's like, I don't want a child to ever feel like, I don't want to feel like she's being replaced. Ollie is. So she was happy, but she was not as happy as she wanted to be. And then a month and a half later, she found out it was twins.
Wow.
So there's not twins in the family. It was a direct sign, like God knew her heart. He knew she didn't want this pregnancy to be anything like Olive's, the delivery to be anything like Olive's. To have 2 beautiful babies, a girl and a boy, Wes and May, that have helped heal our hearts. Little rainbow babies. Again, God is so good. He's like, I'm sorry that I had to take one early. It was Ollie's plan. We know it. And we, are okay with that. We know she's with Jesus Christ. But we have these 2 beautiful babies that are just such joy. They're 9 months old now, and they're just heaven. They're
That's
so amazing.
Wow. I love, I think it's sometimes often easy to go throughout life and just to see life. It's passing us by. Time is fleeting. We're just going through the motions. Life can be hard. Life can be good. There's people in our lives. But you and your family, you seem to pay attention to the details. You seem to listen. You seem to keep your eyes open. You seem to look. when maybe others aren't looking or listening or doing those. So I
Yeah.
I think of what I'd love for the listener to take away, and it is these little things that mean so much, that will bring so much joy, so much meaning to your life, and so much flavor to your life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you being willing to share kind of those harder and vulnerable moments of your life where you've had to trust in a power that's beyond yourself, you know, and that's how it is in life and in business and in relationships. So
you're oftentimes not going to see what's ahead. And if you could, there'd be no learning in that. I'm grateful for what I learned. I'm the person I am today because of what I've been through. So I wouldn't trade any of it. There's times I'd be like, oh, I'd love to have Olive back. I would love that. But that's not the plan. And I'll trust him in that.
And you can trust that what is ahead with that is that you will see her again,
Exactly.
you know, and
Totally.
in God's timing and in His, you know, so that's the one great thing about looking at things from an eternal perspective. There is some things where we have assurance of. It takes faith to believe in that, but I believe what Jesus says that will come, and that will be part of our future. Speaking of future and bringing it back to Swig, what's in the future? What's ahead? It sounds like there's a lot of franchises opening. And when I look at that and knowing your story now, I'm like, I want to support as much as possible, because wherever those stores are opening, there is good coming your way. There's connection coming your way.
We want to be a part of the community wherever we go, and we want to be your favorite place to go. We want you to gather all your kids or your friends and go get a Swig. It's more than just like a drink. We are more than a drink. We have that slogan on our walls. We are about connection, and that's inside the car with your family, friends, someone of your family member that you just want to have a talk with, your teenagers, whatever. But it's connection in that drive-thru line, but it's being a part of that community and helping lift wherever we are. And our franchisees have gathered that as well, have encircled that, and they're now sharing that same Swig love to the world. And I'm so grateful for our franchisees. When they win, we win. Like, they are the best. I try to get out to at least a couple of their openings. I was just in Kansas 3 weeks ago, and this was store number 4. They're building out their team so well. So we are, I'm going to say world domination. I'm just kidding. But I really want Swig to be everywhere. I feel like every community deserves to have a Swig. I honestly do, because it is more than just the drink. It's more than a business. It's about the connection and the culture of growing something amazing and giving opportunity to people. There's just so much that goes into it, but we're expanding. So we're 120 locations. I'd say 70% corporate, 30% franchise, but we're going to continue to build corporate as well, just to establish a real firm foundation of who we are throughout the nation. And there'll be certain regions that are corporate, but most will be franchise outside of like the 5 that I've mentioned. And that'll swap like the percentage of franchise to corporate here in about 3 to 5 years. And you're gonna see Swigs everywhere, and we're hoping to get to 500 plus, if not 1,000 locations as we get to like 2030 and beyond.
That's amazing.
So, and we have the team to do it now, and all the foundation to do so. We just got to make sure that we deliver on the 3 things that built us. The fast, service, the premium product, and the connected customer service. And if we stay true to that, we can do it, and we'll keep that culture. I'm very, very blessed. You've heard a lot of my heart. I don't mind sharing the hard, because that's what I appreciate. When I hear other people's heart, I'm like, I can do this. I can do this moment that I'm in, and I have learned things from their experience. So I know I'm supposed to share my heart. I'm vulnerable, because God, He trusts me that I'm like His hands. And just like He's shown up for me, I need to show up for Him and be vulnerable and share some of those things that I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know Nicole Tanner, the founder of Swig, has been divorced. And that's okay. We all have our heart, and we can rise above it.
Yeah, He's given you these stories, these experiences to strengthen you, to build you, to connect you with Him. And He's given you these stories to not keep in, but to share. Because it's such an influence and an inspiration to others who are walking the path that you were on, or maybe a little different, but it's like, okay, I need to pay attention to how He's showing up in my life.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing. I love the growth, the success you're seeing.
And let's raise even more money for Save the Cups.
100%.
That's definitely the goal. As we spread out, each franchisee is raising money. So I think we're our goal is to hit like 700,000 this October. Like we've got to hit it. We're not quite a 501c3 501c, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're hoping to get there by this next year to where people can just donate online.
Okay.
But for now, you have to be close to a Swig to be able to help, and that's okay. We'll get there.
Yep.
But my goal is just to really help as many women as we can fighting the fight and lift that financial medical debt off their shoulders.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's awesome to hear this story and to know about a brand, but then to know the founder is incredible. I mean, like I said, we've had the Valentine's card Swig boxes. We've had that same daughter, Savvy. I call her Savvy-licious, and and
awesome.
she does. This last her birthday when she turned 12 in April, we bought. Thing from you guys. It was the pearl. Is it pearls or bobos?
Yeah. It's the popping pearls.
They are incredible. In fact, I'll tell you about one of my favorite drinks in a second. But we bought 2 like big buckets of those, and then we had all the flavors so that while the kids were out at the pool, they were doing that. And then they'd come in and get their Swig. We had the cups and everything, and then we had the bobos.
Yeah, boba, whatever. Whatever.
I always say something different. My kids are always like, Dad, we've already told you what this is. So, but one of my favorite drinks is, I think it's the Fresca one with like the bobos in it. It's like I'm forgetting the name.
There's Island Time. There is
Island Time, and then I put the what's the flavor? It's like
there's a pink Bahama. There's Island Time, but you can add pearls to any drink.
Yeah, and there's different flavor pearls too.
There's strawberry and passion fruit.
Okay, I do the passion fruit pearls.
Nice.
And I love the flavor just as it is like that. I put the cream on top, the coconut cream.
Yeah.
If I'm coming home with it, I go home and I take some of our coconut product at MTN Ops or our pineapple product and I mix it in, and then I'm just like, oh, the flavors are just incredible. But so that's my favorite thing. Dirty Diet Coke has been my favorite soda flavor with the coconut cream on top. For my daughter Savvy, it's Texas Tab with Dr. Pepper and
Dr. Pepper vanilla flavoring coconut cream.
Yeah, so that's hers.
That's our top drink, by the way.
Oh, is it really?
She's picked the best drink.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's hers all the time.
So good.
There's the strawberry breezes that we get, or the mango breeze.
Yeah, that's our refresher. So all water based, sparkling or regular flat water, strawberry or mango puree, frozen strawberries, coconut vanilla sugar free flavoring, coconut cream. It is really a delicious drink that is pretty low calorie, and it's all water based.
That's awesome. Yeah, we always do the sparkling water and do that.
So good.
What's the Mountain Dew one you guys sell?
Mountain Dew. There's the Beach Babe. The Beach Babe is that's our most popular Mountain Dew, and it is raspberry, peach, and vanilla cream.
Okay.
But there's like a Bloody Wild, which is like strawberry and mango puree. That one's been around for a long time. Yeah, that's strawberry and mango puree and Mountain Dew.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said you sell like a sweet tea down in the South and
we
stuff?
just knew as we headed into the South that they love that. And so we wanted to accommodate for that. We're icy beverages. So, yeah, we have sweet tea in the South.
We sell a sweet tea lemonade, like an Arnold Palmer flavor.
Yeah.
And it goes crazy down in the South for us. So it's interesting to do regional flavors that way.
Yeah.
It's not like my type of flavor. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I wasn't, raised with that kind of flavor. But we have like the Duck Dynasty folks and stuff that go crazy with that flavor.
That is so awesome.
So just kind of some rapid fire questions. Like what's your go-to? Is it still the same flavor?
I am such a creature of habit. Thus, the reason why we have a Swig. But the Founder. Yeah. I get it every single day. I already told you the Diet Coke, sugar-free coconut.
It's
flavoring.
Still the same thing you'll get every day?
Yes. Am I like the craziest? That's what this is right here.
Yeah.
It's what fuels me.
Okay.
It gives me all the happy feels. Yeah, I love it. I've tried all the drinks. I will sometimes switch it up and get Dr. Pepper Zero, which is really good, Founder. Or I'll do a Texas Tab Zero. I love a strawberry breeze, but I'm a Diet Coke girl. That is just how it all started. Okay. And so the Founder is my drink. It's not fake. That's really what I drink every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You sell a lot really good cookies too. Was that part of the?
Yeah, we had that from the very beginning. Yeah, very beginning. The classic pink chilled sugar cookie. It's evolved into just more of a basic. I want our customers to be able to pull in. It's as basic of a menu as we can. I don't want to have like 20 different cookies, and so we are really good drinks, and we have really good base cookies. And so we have our classic pink sugar cookie, and then our mini chocolate chip cookies in a cup. And then we have a limited time cookie that we do every month.
Okay.
And we switch it out. And so like the mini pumpkin chocolate chip are coming out in September.
Okay.
For a couple months. Delicious. Probably our best cookie besides our coconut lime sugar cookie, which is a coconut frosting on top of our sugar.
Cool.
So we try to keep it fresh and relevant and pulling people in with new drinks and cookies. We switch out, we add new flavors of like drinks to the menu as well, like flavor shots. So dragon fruit was trending last summer. We brought it back this summer and it's gangbusters. So we switch that out every quarter as well with flavor shots in our drinks. Of what's trending and what's good, just to bring in more customers if we can, just more people to try our drinks, try what Swig is, and then cookies as well on more of a monthly basis.
Do you have a submission process for customers to say, hey, we want to try these things? And have you ever had any winners that come out of that, or any recommendations?
We don't have but that's a great idea. That's something we could try, like a submission of like, try this. A lot of the drinks come from like our team members because they're the mixologists on the line. The Strawberry Breeze came from a team member out in our Oker store that wanted to recreate the Starbucks pink drink, where it's much better than that. And so our team members, but we've had customers who are like, bring in, grapefruit, and we'll bring in grapefruit or whatever. But we have a focus group that we bring in some of our top customers to try every single drink and cookie.
That's cool.
So if you've made that focus group, you're in. You're in. You're a Swig fan for life.
That's awesome.
We bring them in because they know Swig and we want their opinion.
I love that. That's a great idea. What's Greg's go-to?
He gets the Texas Tab. Poor Greg has not drank as much soda. He's drank more soda than he has his whole life. But he didn't know what he was getting into.
He's the soda king.
He's the soda king. Yeah, so he gets the Texas Tab. And just a couple months ago, made it with Dr. Pepper Zero. And he's like, I didn't even know, because he's like, I don't like diet drinks. And he'll now get it with Dr. Pepper Zero. So
that's so cool. Wow, this is awesome. One last question for you, and it's kind of around legacy. We read a book, maybe you've heard of it or maybe you've read it. It's called How Will You Measure Your Life? It's by Clayton Christensen. We have a book club here at Mountain Ops, so it's one of the books we've brought back in kind of to our circulation and had people read multiple times. But that is my question. When all is said and done, as a conqueror in life, Nicole, how will you measure your life?
It is who I have served and who I've connected with. Absolutely, who I've helped along the way. I think I said just a few minutes ago. I'm his hands. I'm his hands. I will do what he needs me to do. My prayers every night are, please continue to guide Swig where we need to go and what we need to do. Guide me on with my leaders and who I need to lift and help along the way. That was what's been done for me. So I will forever be finding those that need the help and the lift, helping them to see how much they're loved, how much they are loved, and how much their Heavenly Father knows them and loves them, and their Savior, Jesus Christ. That's what I want my legacy to be, is how she loved, how she served, how she showed up for people in life. I love people. I just do. We're all sons and daughters of a loving Heavenly Father. And I want to be his hands in helping them to know how much they are loved.
That's beautiful. I love that response. And I've shared this on another podcast or two, maybe. And whenever I hear somebody like you, that their life is about service, it's about listening to God and being his hands and coming to the aid of another. This scripture comes to my mind. So I'll share it, even though those that have listened before have heard this. But, he says, I stand at the door and knock. And if we let him in, he says that he'll come and he'll sup with us, right? You're out there, you're serving those around you. You're actually also serving a product. Like you're there to serve people. And so in so many ways you're serving, right? But I feel like the Lord has knocked on your door multiple times, and you've been one that's responded. You've listened, you've opened the door, you've sat him down. And then he says that they that wait upon the Lord will have their strength renewed. They'll run and not be weary. They'll walk and not faint. That waiting upon the Lord, it's not I've got to wait, I've got to be patient. It's like you're out serving. You're consider the Lord at your table, at your drive-thru. And he says, inasmuch as you've done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. So when you go to have an experience at Swig or at a restaurant, a Chick-fil-A, what do you want? You want them to attend to you. You want the mixture made good. And so they're waiting We are waiting upon the Lord by serving his children, our brothers and sisters. And I just see that in your life. And when people live that way, their strength is renewed. They can run and walk and not be weary and walk and not faint. It just gives you this added energy and lift in life that can come through that source. We've talked about that source so much throughout this podcast, and I appreciate that more than you know. So thank you for sharing your faith, your testimony, your experiences in life where others will be strengthened through it. And thanks for waiting upon the Lord in your life and winning the wait that's come your way.
Yes, it sometimes there's more waiting. Like you're it's hard to maybe not necessarily feel him, but when you're really in the depths, sometimes it's hard. And I would oftentimes say those are the moments where you've got to get out of that heaviness if you can, and go out and serve, or go out and find someone that's going to help lift you. Go be around people. Go talk with someone. Go do your web hill. Sit in those spaces. I'm really a firm believer of you need to mourn. You need to feel. You have to walk through it. You have to walk through the hard. But don't stay too long in that super heavy, because it doesn't serve you. You're going to feel it and you're going to be there. But find the ways to connect with people and get outside of that heavy waiting period where you're waiting on him, right? And we're always waiting on him. We can never repay him for what he's done. But get out and serve and help. And sometimes serving is just like, go to the store and smile at someone. Go get a drink at Swig and pay for the car behind you. Like that will fill your cup up just enough to where you're like, I can keep going and have some peace. Because there's sometimes in life where that peace is hard to find when you've gone through the excruciating. But he's always there. He's so patient with you, and he loves you. And sometimes I'm a slow learner, and he's like, remember how I showed up for you here and here and here and here? And I'm like, I know, I trust you. Are you sure it has? Okay, yes, I trust you. But waiting on the Lord is huge.
And such a key element to remember, right? To remember what was done in the past.
Look at the tender mercies. He's always there. The tender mercies are always there. He's got you.
Nicole, you're amazing. Thank you. This has been incredible.
This has been
Appreciate
so awesome.
the story and the experience and the heart and soul that you've poured into your brand and into life that's blessing so many people. Thanks for being on the Conquer Cast.
Thanks for having me.